Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Robert Chappell, Executive Editor of Madison365. Your daily update brought to you by the Wisconsin Leadership Summit. As you can see, our new little video ad there that I just played for you. That's coming up October 5th to the 9th. It's $79 is full price for the full week. There's 5 panel discussions every day, and there are going to be a couple other events around it that we have yet to announce, so it'll be well worth your investment and your time. There's a nonprofit rate, $49, and a student rate of $20, and it's all virtual, all online this year, which is great. Also, support today comes from the Minority Health Film Festival presented by Milwaukee Film. That runs today, actually started last Thursday, but runs through the 24th. And lots of good films there on a wide variety of topics related to health and wellness in communities of color. That's at mkefilm.org/MHFF. So today, the news is not terrible. It's not great. It's going to be a while before we get really, really good news. But for today, it's not as terrible as it has been. And that's all we can ask for right now. We have more tests come in today, which is great. More than 12,000 tests, which is where we want to be every day. So it's good to be back there. Yesterday we had like 3,000 or 3,300 or something. We did have 1,348 positive results, which is a lot. But out of 12,200 tests, that's about 11%. Remember yesterday we were at 19.7. The day before that we were at 20.4. So to go all the way down to 11% for the day, good, great. We're still over 10%. Still want to be under 10%. We still actually want to be under like 3%. But again, it's never about just the one day. It's all about which way you're going, right? So to go from nearly 20 yesterday to 11 today is good news. I suspect that some of these tests today, the negative tests today, were actually for yesterday and are just being reported today, which means that of the tests actually processed today, it's probably slightly higher than 11%, and yesterday was slightly lower than 20%, but it evens out over time, which is why it's important to pay attention to the 7 and the 14-day average rates, right? Which today, for the past 7 days, our positive test rate is 14.8%. It actually went up. And that is pretty terrible. One hopes that if the trend continues and we go down again tomorrow, that 7-day average will also go down. Great. 14-day rate is now 13.9%. So that's also pretty bad. 7-day average new cases is 1,261. And 14-day average is now 1,090. So to be over 1,000 cases per day for 14 days for the state is pretty bad, honestly. Both of the 7 and 14-day average number of cases is the highest it's ever been. We've also had 10 new fatalities today. I suspect we'll continue to see numbers in this like 10 to 12 range for the next little while, just given the fact that we've started to see increases in cases for the past 3 or 4 weeks. We have 3 fatalities today in Milwaukee County, 3 in Rock County, and then 1 each in Racine, Sheboygan, Walworth, and then Menominee County had its first fatality today. Our average fatalities has actually gone up. It's been right around 5.5 to 6 per day for the past several days, and today it's at 7.43. 7.43 deaths per day over the past week, and 6 per day over the past 2 weeks. Those are both slightly higher than they were. Not great. Still not catastrophic. I really at one point feared that we'd be in the 20 range by now, the way cases were going in August. So that's good. One thing to note is that a lot of the growth in cases has been in younger people who are just, by the nature of the disease, less vulnerable to death. So increases in cases among those that are like 20, like 18 to 22, which is a lot of the growth right now, may not translate directly into more fatalities, which is good. There might be a little bit of an echo effect that as those 18 to 22-year-olds pass it to each other and then pass it on to older people, as as it just inevitably spreads just because it's a virus, that's how they work. We might see that translate into some additional deaths in the future, but we will cross our fingers and hope not. Now, one thing that's interesting today is that our urban counties, or the two biggest urban counties, I should say, Dane County and Milwaukee County, did not have all that many cases, honestly. Dane County reported only 34 this morning. The state is reporting 50 cases for Dane County this afternoon, just because they report at different times of day. And then Milwaukee County has 94 new cases today, which, kind of a lot, but that's not bad for Milwaukee County, to be honest. What that means is, Dr. Madison and Milwaukee, Dane County, Milwaukee County, have relatively lower case numbers, but we still have over 1,300 for the entire state. It means that there are a lot of counties with a lot of cases. In fact, I believe my list of basically what I do in this report each day is just kind of mention any county that has over 10 or new cases or more. And today there are 29. I think this is the longest this list has ever been. It's just there are a lot of places around the state where infection is spreading. And when you think about the way the population is spread out in Wisconsin, we're obviously a very rural state for the most part, with the exception of a few urban centers. And so a place like Grant County today has 21 new cases. 21 new cases would not be a big deal in Green Bay or Milwaukee. It's kind of a big deal in Grant County, right? So I'm just going to run down this list really quick. I won't go too deep into the numbers, but I just want to give you a sense as to how widespread the numbers are today. Brown County, 167 new cases today in Brown County. They've been very high the past several days, and it's unclear. It seems like that's related to UW Green Bay, although it might not be. It might be something else. We have to wait for some other numbers to come in to see. But, okay, Calumet County, 13 cases. Columbia County, 11. I mentioned Dane County, 50, or 34, depending what time of day you checked. Dodge County, 42. Eau Claire County, 27. It was lower than yesterday. Fond du Lac County, 23. Grant County, 21. Jefferson County, 25. Kenosha County, 16, which is better for Kenosha County than it has been. Kewaunee County, very rural county, 10 new cases. La Crosse County in rough shape today, 90 new cases there. Again, that's UW La Crosse. Langlade County, which I'm not sure that Langlade County has ever been on this list, but they have 11 new cases today. Manitowoc has 23 new cases. Marathon has 13. Milwaukee County, 94, as I mentioned. Monroe County, 11 cases. Oconto County, 16. Outagamie County, 97. I'm not sure why that is exactly. There's not a UW school there, but there's Lawrence University. Ozaukee County, 19. Portage County, 25. That's where Stevens Point is, UW Stevens Point. Racine County, a little bit higher today. Again, 38 new cases. Rock County, 25. Sheboygan County, 34. Walworth County, UW Whitewater, 123 new cases today. Washington County, 43. Waukesha County, 39. Is that right? I thought Waukesha County was higher. Let me double check that real quick. No, that's right, 39. So Waukesha County is actually in better shape than it has been. Winnebago County, UW Oshkosh, 81 new cases. And Wood County, 11 new cases today. The percentage of positives on those are very widely, and I'm not Some of them are probably not right. Dodge County, for example, says 97.6% positive tests. I'm not sure that's accurate. I think that might be a case of negative tests not being reported. But places like Grant County, 21 new cases, 20.5% positive tests. So I think that's probably pretty close. La Crosse County, 90 cases, 67% positive tests, because probably they're really focusing testing on campus, and a lot of those are coming back positive because they're high risk. So for them, for 2/3 of their tests to come back positive actually makes a lot of sense. Again, you can see all of these numbers if you want to spend a little more time with them on the website, Madison365.org. Two things I want to note, other little news items related to coronavirus. Are that I hear, I haven't been able to confirm this yet, but it sounds like UW Whitewater is going to make like kind of a last ditch effort to contain the virus before shutting down. There was a Facebook post to that effect. I have not seen the email. I've asked for the email to be forwarded to me, so I will follow up with this. But my understanding is that UW Whitewater is basically sending an email to students saying we need to lock the campus down. We all need to wear masks. We all need to be distant. And if we can't get this under control, we might have to shut down campus. So again, we will see. I can't confirm that independently, but we'll see on it. The other thing I want to mention is the Public Health Madison, Dane County. There's been some consternation or some talk that, why do we have these mandates of, like Dane County is still under emergency order that says restaurants can only be 25% full. Bars cannot have anybody inside unless they have food. You can't be standing at the bar. You have to be, it can be open for takeout. Stores can only have 25% capacity. You have to have the mask sign. You have to enforce mask wearing in stores. And there's been some frustration that these have not been actually enforced. And that was kind of by design, right? Like Public Health Madison Dane County is about public health. They're not about law enforcement. They don't want to be handing out fines. They don't want to be taking people to court. They want to tell you, please put a mask on and have you just do it because it's the right thing to do. But it hasn't worked yet. And Dane County is still going kind of bonkers, especially in those downtown campus area bars. So they sent a letter to every licensed business in Madison, not all over Dane County, but everywhere in Madison, and says we are going to work with the Madison Police Department and we're going to start enforcing this. I've got a story on this on the website this morning. You can, it was like late this morning, like almost midday when I posted this. So I'll drop a link in the comments here just so you can see this. But basically they're saying, it's $1,000 fine per violation, which means per person over capacity. So the example they gave, if your restaurant normally holds 100 people, that means right now you're allowed to have 25, and that's all. So if the police come or public health officials come and you have 100 people in there, if you're 75 over capacity, they will fine you $75,000. So for every person over capacity is a violation. They'll fine you $1,000 for each person. In addition, if you're a bar and you're not following public health guidelines, you could lose your liquor license, or it could at least be suspended. So they sent letters to all the businesses, and they tweeted that this morning, and then I reported it. We'll see if they actually follow through or not, or if businesses listen or not. But one hopes that will encourage more compliance. And that one also hopes that it's not too late. I believe that is that's pretty much the coronavirus news for today. Oh, let me check the radio transmission. We were second in the nation yesterday at 1.23. Let's see where we are today. Sorry, I forgot to look at this before congratulations, everyone. We have the highest rate of transmission in the United States. We're at 1.28. The highest we have been since the beginning. At the very, very beginning of this, we were like at 2.5, but that we took care of that very quickly. It went way down really quickly as soon as the state shut down. The highest I remember since then is 1.35. So we're almost there. 1.28. West Virginia now is down to 1.22. So congratulations to us. The highest rate of transmission in the United States, 1.28, which means on average, each person who's infected will pass the infection on to 1.28 other people. More practically, what that means is basically like every 3 people who are infected will pass it on to one more. Better way to put it is for every 100 people, if there's 100 people who are infected, the next round of infection will be 128. And then the next round after that, let me do some math. I was an English major. I don't do math in my head. The next round after that will be 164. And the next round after that will be 210. So now you have, just in a couple rounds of infection, and this is not like people recover in between here. So now that 100 people in a couple of days' time has become 600 people. You see what I'm saying? That it spreads rapidly when you're over 100, or when you're over 1.0, especially when you get up over like 1.2. Every round of infection is 28% higher, bigger, more people than the previous round of infection. Again, that's not predictive. That doesn't tell us what's going to happen tomorrow necessarily. It's a description of what's been happening in the past week. So none of us should be surprised that it's high, because we've seen how this infection is growing over these past 2 weeks, really. Right? So, inauspicious to be tops in the nation. Okay, I'm going to just take a look at comments and see if there's any questions that I can help you with. I agree with most of these comments, I think. Thank you, Aaron, for the celebratory gifts or emojis. I appreciate it. We will, Aaron, it sells blood being on the hands of UW Board of Regents, and your assistant president, Tommy Thompson, and all the chancellors of all the campuses. I think responsibility is shared there across administration. Blood on the hands is a bit melodramatic, but it's hard to say. Nobody's died yet, and in fact, those cases on campus. So I'm being very, very optimistic, and I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt here, because that's kind of my role is not to panic. It's literally kind of the opposite of panicking, is just to inform. But the fact is that those college-age students who've gotten sick on campus, which are driving a lot of these numbers, not just University of Wisconsin-Madison, by the way. If you take UW-Madison out of it, the rest of the state is still in really bad shape. But it seems to be driven, at least in part, by those other UW campuses, who are all in their, that 18 to 22 age range. They are not getting seriously ill for the most part. Some of them will certainly get very ill, but most will not. So the question now is, can those campuses isolate those people before they spread it any further? If they can, we will see big numbers for the next 3 or 4 days. Well, they're going to basically test everybody on every campus. That'll take a few days for all those data to come in, and then the next 2 or 3 days will be very high numbers, and then the numbers will go down. If this is the best case scenario, if we're able to isolate all those campuses, get all those college students who've now been infected, which obviously that was predictable, if we're able to just close them off in those dorms and make their lives miserable for the next couple of weeks, we will see the numbers go up for the next 2 or 3 days, and then we'll see the numbers go down very fast, and we will not see a big increase in deaths. That is the best case scenario right now. Worst case scenario would be, or a slightly worse case scenario would be, that we're not able to lock down those campuses, or that it will already have been too late. Like it's already too. If there's a possibility that it's already too late, that the virus has already taken hold on those campuses and then spread outside those campuses. In which case, we will see the numbers continue to go up for the next 3 days, and then we'll see them continue to go up after that, and we will see an increase in deaths in 3 weeks from now. I will remain hopeful. I think Kathy is right. Kathy just commented that the first student who dies will be the deciding factor for a lot of things. I think you're absolutely right. We were just hypothetically discussing this morning. Do we think Rebecca Blank is in danger? Do we think her job is in danger? And my thought is the first student who dies, it might be. The first member of the staff who dies, which is much more likely. There are a handful of staff at UW who have been infected by students who are just going to be older and more vulnerable. So we'll see if that happens. But again, the best case scenario is we got all the students together. They're all getting infected. We're going to close them off, and it's going to stop there. Fingers crossed that happens. It's also possible, like I said, that it's already too late for that. That those were out partying, and it's already spread it outside where the university can control it. Because the universities only have so much control, right? If somebody's infected for 2 or 3 days and they're out and about and they've already spread it around and it's already out of hand, forget it. We're going to be 1.3 on the RT, and we're going to stay at 20% positive test rate. And the next month and a half is going to be really, really difficult. So we'll see what happens, and whether it goes one way or the other, I will be here to let you know about it. And if it's going well, I will tell you it's going well. And if it's going poorly, I'll tell you it's going poorly, but I'm not going to try to just make up bad news just to get the clicks, okay? Promise you that. Couple other unrelated news notes today that aren't COVID related. There's so much news every day. I don't even remember what we posted this morning. There's a fundraiser for the Community Immigration Law Center, a new social organization called GatherX, which seems to have sort of appropriated its model from Social X in Milwaukee. A little sketchy. But there's a new social organization here in Madison, young professionals kind of organization, and they're hosting a barbecue fundraiser, drive-through barbecue fundraiser for the Community Immigration Law Center. We have a story on that this morning at Madison365.org. And the other thing I'll mention is that former Madison East principal, former Sherman Middle School principal here in Madison, who is now the chief of secondary schools. So he basically is in charge of all the high schools in Madison. There was Mike Hernandez. and he has agreed to host and moderate one of those panels at the Wisconsin Leadership Summit. On the second day, it's going to be all education related, and the one he's running is basically about managing expectations and what do we expect of students in this time. Like, as a parent of school kids, like, it's hard to expect them to do what they normally do, but you have some kids who are ready to graduate and go to college, and what are colleges expecting of them in this time, So that should be a really interesting conversation, especially related to students of color. Obviously, that's our focus. But again, that WisconsinLeadershipSummit.com is where you can register for that. It's $79 for the entire week. I highly recommend it. This is our third one. Our first one is fully online, obviously, but the last couple have been very successful, and we've already got over 200 people registered. Due to it being online, there's not really a limit to the number of people who can attend. So feel free to jump in, talk to your boss, convince them that you need this for your work, that you need to. It is designed as a professional development event for everyone, for white people as well as people of color, just to sort of get a better sense of how diversity and inclusion actually really plays out in the workplace and in the world. So it's definitely worth your time if you're any kind of professional, and I think a lot of employers actually pay for people to come to this, and will give you the time to sit and do it. And the nice thing is you don't have to sit for all 5 days. Like, you have 25 panels. The schedule's already out. You can choose 1 or 2 every day. You can choose 1 or 2 days where you're in every day, all day, and then just check out the rest of the time. But anyway, like I said, there's 25 panel discussions, and we're going to announce some other events around it pretty soon that I'm very excited about, that I'll let you know about. But that's all I have for you today. Give us follow us on here, Madison365, on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Keep up on all the news. And enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow.